Welcome back, subscribers, and hello YouTube viewers. On this occasion we're off to Princess Pier. Now Princess Pier is a 580 metre long historic pier on Port Phillip Bay in Port Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. It's southwest of the CBD of Melbourne and it's about 5.6 kilometres or 3.4 miles by car, or 1 hour and 10 minute walk from the CBD, or a 21-minute bicycle ride. Princess Pier was known as the New Railway Pier until renamed Princess Pier after the Prince of Wales, Edward VIII, who visited Melbourne in May 1920. The pier was constructed between 1912 to 1915 by the Melbourne Harbor Trust to supplement the adjacent Station Pier, originally the Railway Pier. From completion in 1915 until 1969, it was also the major arrival point for new migrants, particularly those from the post-war period. In addition to the pier, there was a gatehouse and barriers, terminal building, amenity rooms, goods lockers, ablution blocks, railway sidings and passenger gangways. From opening, the pier was linked by rail to the Port Melbourne railway line via double lines branching from the Melbourne side of Graham Station. 8 railway tracks ran along the bridge, 4 along either face. A passenger rail service was provided to the pier after the 30th of May 1921, operated by the Suburban Electric Trains. Running when ships were docked at the pier, it was usually operated by a single double-ended swing door motor car until the service ended in November 1930 because it was not financially rewarding for the Victorian Railways. The overhead wiring was removed on the 17th of August 1953 and the line singled and worked as a siding from the 21st of March 1961. With the containerisation boom, the pier became unused, being closed to the public access in the early 1990s due to poor timber condition. Squatters caused a fire in the late 1990s that destroyed the store structures. So there is a bit more history that I have discovered, but what I'll do is once the drone goes up, I'll jump in again and give you that information. But once again, all the information, all the credits, all the references to the voiceover and the historic images will be in the description below. So please enjoy the video. Welcome back, subscribers, and hello YouTube viewers. It is a bit windy, so there's not much I can do about that. I can't apologise because I have no control over the weather. But we're at Princess Pier. Now, Princess Pier was also known as the New Railway Pier. And if you had relatives going back a few generations that came to Victoria from England or maybe some other locations throughout Europe, this is where they would have come. Not all of them, but a good percentage would have. So we'll have a look around. I believe it is heritage listed, and we'll have a look and see what we can see. The drone has already been up, so that's great. So we've got some great drone footage of the location, and just nearby is Station Pier, and we do have a cruise ship, a P&O cruise ship, and that looks pretty spectacular too in the background. But our focus is purely on the Princess Pier. Now, as per usual, you would have seen a number of historical photos that I was able to find on the internet, namely out of the State Library of Victoria. But there are a few sort of displays at this pier, at the Princess Pier, that you can also read if you don't want to do any research. So there is some information here, and also once the drone goes up, if there's any more information I can find, that's when I'll give you a bit more. So basically this is just a walk around, gives you an idea what I'm looking at as I've arrived. There is a sort of a sculpture there to our right, and we'll make our way to it. Now if you are coming out to this area, I think you've just got to type in Pier Street, as in P-I-E-R Street, and Port Melbourne, and I'll bring you right here. There's no parking directly in front, so you'll have to park somewhere on the side streets. So here's a well, what I'll do first, I'll show you where the railway lines are. There are a few railway tracks that are still in place to give you an idea what it was all like, and we'll have a look what's in and see what's in here. Now I can't really tell you too much on what this is all about because there is a display that one has to trigger to make work, but they're all faulty and they're not working at all. If it's one of those ones, there's two here and there's just nothing on display, so I can't really tell you too much about this thing. But anyway, we'll continue on. I don't know if you can see there in the background, I'll zoom in a little bit, is the P&O boat. Not sure what it's called, Pacific something, Pacific Explorer. It doesn't look like a very new ship, and I suspect it's one of those ships that spends a lot of time in Florida, and as it gets long in the tooth, it makes its way here. I just have that funny feeling that's not all that brand new, and specifically for the Australian public. So here's another sort of display with the word Princess. There's no wording on it to give you any idea what it's all about, but nonetheless it's here. We'll walk through it, and this should be a familiar sight with some of the old photos that I've already presented. Now there are kids playing soccer around here, which is good. It is a dog-friendly place, but I think you have to have it on lead from one of the signs I've seen. And there are quite a number of people fishing on the pier as well. So it's being used quite well by the community. So this is known as the Allen Whitaker Gatehouse. Not sure why. Okay, some information that he was wounded in Gallipoli, and then finally a fatal shot here on the 2nd of November. What? Okay. So was he murdered here or not? Not sure. That's worth sort of trying to investigate and see what all that's about. So as you can see, there's the formal gates from back in the day. It's where all your container ships come in. It's a great open space. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see what's inside. I don't think we will, even if I put my hand there. I think they've got an actual cover. Yeah, no, they've got an actual cover. You can only see my coconut through the reflection. I can tell you that there's public toilets here as well in the old part, but they're very much a modern feature. I do believe that this was totally renovated, and not all that long ago, I don't believe, but hopefully all that information would have come out already by now in the preamble with all those old photos. But it's been painted, it looks terrific. I can only surmise that it costed a fair bit of money to do this, but it is an outstanding sort of pier with a lot of history behind it. And as you can see, there just is a lot of people taking advantage. This is a weekday. It is a Friday afternoon, so just after lunch. And we'll get a little bit closer to have a look at the pier. Now there are a number of telescopes that you can look through to see the surrounding area. In the distance, way in the distance, is West Gate Bridge. So there's all your pylons from when the pier was here. They're very wide. I didn't realise it was so wide. And These are these things. And they're $2 to use. Which isn't too bad, I guess. I'm sure they're made to withstand the rigours of people who like to destroy things. So, yeah. So there's your fishermen doing their thing. There are surveillance cameras on all of these lighting poles, which is just great. There's the apartments. They're not necessarily new. They've been around for at least a decade. So they're not that old. And they're not necessarily that new either. Now that's where the P&O cruise ship is, and it was called the Pacific Explorer, yep. And their slogan is, bring us all together. Oh, brings us all together. Okay. We've got our afternoon joggers. I guess if you're coming out for a bit of a afternoon fishing or something, it's not a bad little pier to do it from. Also, if you're a cyclist and you like cycling down along Beaconsfield Parade, it's not all that much further to make it to Princess Pier, or even Station Pier that's next door. Now we'll just get a close up of this guy. Where is he? The bird. There he is. Working on his tan. Why not? Okay, very good. Just a bit of a side profile of the building. Another angle of the main entry port. It would have been, I guess they would have had customs here and everything for all the people who were migrating, and also for all the shipping and freight that would have come through with the large sailing boats. And it makes sense why they called it the new Railway Pier, because from my understanding, even with Station Pier, I think they had the same basic role, is the ships would come in, all the goods would be immediately put onto sort of box cars or whatever they are, and via railway transported to the city of Melbourne. And as we saw with the drone footage, or you're about to, you'll see the skyline of Melbourne isn't all that far away. So if you had an apartment here, I think you'd have a pretty good view. I do understand that the cruise ships come and go all the time. It would have been pretty good when the Spirit of Tasmania, the ferry to Tasmania that came and went from this location pretty much every few days, which is now, they've been relocated to Geelong, which I might do a video of, to the new location. I'm just waiting for the new Spirit of Tasmania ship to arrive, the new ferry. I believe they're built. But there's a problem with the docks at Devonport. They haven't been made yet to accommodate it. I think they're okay here in Geelong. So these new Spirit of Tasmania ship has already been built, and it's sort of, I don't know where it is. It's in some harbour somewhere parked up, and it'll be parked up there for a number of years before Devonport and Tasmania organise themselves to get the I'm not even sure what you call it, whether you unload and load all the cars and trucks and all that sort of stuff prepared for that new ship. So at the moment they're still using the old one, and it comes and goes from Geelong, I think it's Cryo Bay, I'm not 100% sure, to Devonport and Tasmania. So that's the end of our little video. As you can see, we've got people on scooters. This is your bike track. That will take you, continue on to Port Melbourne, and there's the pier. So there you go. So if you've got grandparents or great-great-grandparents still with us, there's every chance they might have come to and landed in Victoria or Australia, if it was their first stop, right here. Okay, so I'll jump back in here with a bit more history that I've uncovered. So in the 3 years to 2004, 14 fires occurred. A refurbishment estimated at a cost of $14 million was announced by the state government in April 2006, with the first 196 metres of the pier to be fully restored. Beyond that point, the decking was removed and the original pylons preserved. A full restoration was established to cost $60 million. A cost for the work was awarded in June 2007 and work began in October of the same year. The refurbished section of the pier reopened to the public in December 2011, and you see it as we see it now. So that's basically about it with all the history I discovered about Princess Pier, so please enjoy the aerial footage.
So once again, here we are nearing the end of this video. If you did like the video, by all means, click on that like button or that thumbs up icon. Please consider subscribing. Subscribing doesn't cost you 1 cent, but it really does help the channel immensely. But most importantly, stay safe, commute safe, and just have a great day. And thanks for watching.